What's up, y'all? How's it going? I'm doing fine, thank you. Is everything working? Let's check out if the chat works as well. That's affirmative. Excuse me. I'm not really done spamming everywhere just yet, but that'll be done quite soon. And that's the one. Here is the other. And then the last one on my own Twitch channel. Where I don't feel self-conscious to tagging at everyone. I mean, it's the reason you're in there, right? Oh no. I just noticed that I tweeted wrong. There we go. Yeah, whatever. Alright, first things first. Oh shit. We're drinking Cuvée Clarisse today. It's by Wilderen and with 9.2 and it tastes a little bit like a Geus, so I'm ready. I'm ready for this jelly. There we go. I school you. School! And Carmelite, because who cares? Oh. It's not an actual juice, I don't think. Otherwise it would have been a little bit more sour. But it's quite sour. Water, barley, hops, yeast, and spices. Whatever, it's tasty. And quite heavy a beer. Okay. Let's see. It's been a while since we did this thing. Last time that I actually programmed was last week. Was it already last week? At the Socrates OpenSpace in Leuven? I think that was last week, yeah. No, it was the week before. Yeah. The week before that. And we did some coding in Kotlin, because there were a couple of people there that actually knew how to write code in Kotlin. So that was fun. So I'm putting it in presentation mode, huh? Oh no, unicorn. Unicorn implemented their own either type, so I'm very proud. It's not easy to do that, as we can all attest. Right, so what we did last time, maybe it's in a commit somewhere, and if not, then it's in a change list. Here's that. Oh, we did quite a lot there, huh? Oh my. Let's see, what did we do? Some typos, some reformatting. That's not really interesting, is it? We added an insert into challenges thing. Okay, that's fine. We added an isAccepted boolean to the challenges table. Still adding the boolean. What's this stuff here? Ooh. SJS001 asks, how often or how frequently do you commit? That's a good question. We'll go over that and then we can just see it, right? But not that often, in fact. I tend to commit not often enough, I should say, because usually I want to just revert some stuff and then I regret not committing earlier. Yeah, here, this is important stuff. Here we've got a run blocking block where we wrote an extra part where we accept a challenge and then that we can then check or verify that challenge is indeed accepted. And that those fetch pending challenges step, that part is empty. But I think it's still failing if we would run the test because I don't remember implementing it. I just remember implementing or writing the scenario test for now. Yeah, and then this is what the URL should look like. I remember talking about this for a while. In fact, like what would be a good URL? And we came to the conclusion to this URL. So it's sort of the challenge as a resource, and we do an idempotent put on a specific path that says accept the challenge, and then we can just keep the accepting of the challenge within the same controller more easily that way. I think that seems to be it because there's no more diffs. And then the other stuff we did was some refactoring apparently, but I don't remember doing this either. Ah yeah, we wrapped everything in a single run blocking block because there's no real reason to do that, I think, or I don't think. And then what did we do here? We create client, the pane links. Ah yeah, I vaguely remember doing this. What was that again? It's basically to make it a little bit easier to create a client for then it just looks like this instead of like that. So we reduced some code there. Now let's look at the amount of commits that I have and then maybe the frequency. So let's take, I don't know, like a typical night or something, or some LiveCoding night. So this doesn't really say whether or not I already had open changes at that point, but you can see that at least, so normally I start streaming at 7, so probably here I was streaming for half an hour or something when I committed, and then a minute after I added something else as a work in progress, and then it's almost more than an hour later I added a new commit here. So we were in Kotlin code here, and then we changed the challenge controller, in fact, and then tested it immediately in Elm, I think. And then yet another, almost 2 hours later, another commit. So you can see that the contents of my commits is quite big. Especially this one it's quite atypical because I bet that I added some stuff in there. Yeah, and then maybe just to do a little bit of a check. So here it's also a little bit like an hour or 2 hours. Seems like the amount of times that I commit when doing live coding. So I don't really know where the question was coming from, but I think it answers your question though. What else? Ah yeah, something really important that we did, or that I did at some point, was yeah, I open sourced it, so you can now actually look at the code base. But this one was a big one. I did that on some kind of a Sunday or something, probably. Let me take a sip, eh? Where I thought, you know what? Those IDs in the URLs, they don't really look nice, and it will be really difficult to type them over in your browser if you get challenged by someone. So why not generate a random short unique ID for that stuff? So I ended up having to write quite a bunch of code for that. But I was able to use a library called hash IDs for that purpose. And this hash IDs takes a salt. Maybe there's a test for that or something. Don't remember. But I had to wrap it so that I can add my own salt per, I think it's aggregate or something, or that I plan to do it. Plan to use it. So now I'm just using it for my challenges, yeah, to generate challenge IDs, let's say, because that will be the URL that you will be typically sharing with someone. What else did I add here? I had to do some refactoring because of that, of course. So not use the actual ID of a challenge, but use the challenge ID. So now my challenge has both a challenge ID, which is that shorter, unique still ID, and a just a UUID to represent the entity. So I made a distinction between the primary key, let's say, or the ID of the entity of the aggregate, and what's being published externally to via the REST API. So that will give me the option to change the way those IDs are generated somehow. If I would have used my primary keys for that, then I would also have needed to change my primary key implementation for that, and that's not really like a good idea. But I think this is the coolest part. I wrote a retry class, well, a function, I would say. Where is it used? Maybe I'll show you how it's used. It'll be a little bit easier. Okay, so here we are in the challenge player handler. So when you're sending out a challenge, basically, right? So we need to create a new challenge to do that, to start it. And I now see that it doesn't really fit on one the width of my screen in presentation mode, so it's maybe could be better probably. So what does it look like? What I want to do is I want to retry with this error message. Okay, we can skip that, we can read that later. But I want to retry performing this action. So challenge, just executing challenge on this specific challenger. And I want to retry that until this exact challenge ID, so that this one does not exist. So this is just to make sure that let's say that we try to do this and my generation of a hash ID generates a challenge ID that already exists in the database. Well, at that point I want to just retry doing this part and having it create a new ID basically. And then we'll just try to do that over and over again until we've got a challenge ID that doesn't exist yet. So we don't have a challenge for that. and then we save. And then when that happens, it's only at that point that we throw a player challenged event. So it's nice and atomic that way, which is great. Yeah, and I think it's quite elegant the way it looks. The way it looks right now. The weird part is that it's quite attuned to the use case I had to create a new challenge, because my until block here, it takes in the result from the actual retry stuff, so that you can then do something with that. So let's say that we've got some other reason to use the retry thing, but we want to ignore the result. Well, then we can just do this, and now we've just ignored the result. So even though this is returning something, we don't really care about it. The issue is probably going to be when this is not going to be returning anything, but is returning a unit, let's say, then I don't know what the contract is going to look like. But yeah, that's for another day. Yeah, and then the way it was implemented, maybe I can show that as well. So retry itself, we saw that already, is a function, and I make use of some magic here. So I set the retries automatically to 5, so that this block will be retried at least 5 times. And then I wrap it in a class, so I'm not sure if this is the right way to do it, but I wrapped it in a class because on that class it has some intermediary state, so it's sort of like a builder. Huh? I just didn't call it builder. But on that class instance, we've got an until function that you can call that also takes a predicate. That should return true or false, of course. So that would be this part. Isn't this kind of similar to just a simple do while block? I think you might be correct. I guess with the difference that it's a bit more, it has a DSL now, I would say, and I think the way I implemented it is a little bit different because I had to use some recursion for that. Maybe I didn't need to, but it's recursion now, I guess. Or I ended up using that, but maybe indeed it can be much simpler than using recursion. But for me, the stuff that I learned there was that recursion makes everything better. Yeah, I'm glad you think that way. I'm not sure about it. I always have to wrap my head around it like a couple of times before I eventually get it. But then again, I can't think anymore in a do-while loop anymore. I just can't. It's really strange. Yeah, so here it makes the feature that you get is that after X amount of retries, when it still won't work, then you're throwing this exception basically. So it's like an embedded. That's the feature that you get. Your retry attempts get exhausted. That's the default, so you don't even have to set that error message. But then again, I did. What else is special about it? I don't really know anymore, but yeah, this is how you use it. And this took me a while to do that, but it was a fun exercise in doing that. So if everything is like I said it would, then inside of here we're going to be generating a new challenge ID. So it's going to be in create challenge, and this will be the unique identifier, and then here challenge ID will create a new challenge ID, and then this one is then going to return or use hash IDs to get the next one using this salt here. So I only instantiate that stuff once because it's in a companion object, which is like the static form of a challenge ID here. And then, yeah, I basically create a new challenge ID with that thing, the next one. So you could say, well, Tim, you dumbass, why don't you just actually create only the challenge ID and then pass it along? Well, because I don't want to expose the fact that my challenge itself has the need for this challenge ID. I just want to make sure that I can create a challenge. So I want to be really explicit that this is the thing I want to retry, basically. And the reason for that happens to be the fact that the challenge ID should be unique. That's the idea there. So I will commit and do a little bit of a refactor. So it's a simple commit here. Small refactor. I just try to fit it on the screen a little bit better. I think to go back on that question that SJS001 had is I think one of the reasons why I have bigger sized commits is because in my experiment that I'm running right now, I try to focus more on having broad scenario tests rather than a lot of unit tests that would mock a whole bunch of stuff. So that's why you'll see me writing more of these, like bigger scenario tests, rather than writing unit tests or smaller unit tests. This allows me, or this gives me a little bit more freedom to refactor wildly without having to change all of my unit tests. And yeah, I'm kind of happy about that decision right now. The one thing I need to make sure of though is that my core does get tested properly, because I feel like now with regards to the classes that we have already, we probably need some more unit tests for these, for the actual domain then I mean. But then again, there's not really that much unique domain logic happening there that requires a bunch of unit tests. I think, I feel like the stuff that needs unit tests has unit tests right now. Yeah, so let's verify in fact that. So we've got our scenario, we've got a challenging scenario, we had a new test there, a register player challenges another player, has their score increased, and then now also accepts the challenge. And we verify that it was accepted, basically. So this part I'm not sure works. So we should probably try running that. Let's run it. I think I might have already did some... Oh boy, no, let's not... So you won't really be able to see a bunch of stuff here. I don't think... Wait, not that one. Yeah, there's nothing running, so let's run docker compose using the keycloak maybe first. Up -d, so it will run in the background, and then we can do the same. We can do the same for Postgres, which just starts, yeah, a Postgres, or two databases in fact, one for the event store and one for the quote-unquote projections. And once those are up and running, then I should be able to run that. And then we can also probably run this npm start script here to start our Elm. Live reload. Oh yeah, I guess the indexing is happening now. Because I did, if I remember correctly, I did try to run it. Or not. Oh, here we go. Instantiating tests. Initialization completed. We're not seeing any errors about data sources missing or whatever. Bonsoir, damn Colin. I have to say, I tried the Saint-Nectaire and it's now one of my favorite cheeses. So cheers for that. Oh shit, it's crashing. How are you doing? Oei oei. Ah, method not allowed. I'm also doing great. I was on TV the other day. Last week Friday. But I will have you Google that for yourself and then you can tell me what you think. Allee, why is it? Ah yeah, it's probably because this I've not put that anywhere. It was for the show Belgium's Got Talent that I have talent, Colin. It cannot be denied any longer. I've got validation on TV. and it has nothing to do with coding. But it is a hard skill. Okay. I live coded in Kotlin and I won! Yeah, that would be amazing, eh? It would be amazing for a couple of reasons. So, first of all, who would watch Kotlin on TV? Would be amazing. And then it would have been amazing if, yeah, if someone like me can write the best Kotlin, let's say, because this is not really looking like the best looking code, honestly. Eh? Just sleep automatic first place. Ah, SJ saw it. Nice. Let's think. Eh? Yeah, so the reason why, of course, that thing is saying, hey, I can't find that method, or the fact that it's not allowed, is just because it doesn't exist yet. We only have a post and a get mapping, so it makes complete sense. Wait, I was gonna do generate. We don't want that. We want to put mapping, and then we say, yeah, I already forget. I know, Jesus. I want to put mapping of, so challenge we already have, so /API/challenge, and then I believe it's something like this, challenge ID /accept, if I'm not mistaken. You're not sure what to watch for, yeah, I don't know, Google Belgium's Got Talent and then my name, I guess. Oy. You can't actually find it that way. Okay, that's fine. Jesus. Hang on, I will give you the link. Here. Copy link. Here. You can watch that in your own time. Alright, let's do accept challenge. And we need to get the parameter out of the URL. I feel like we've done that somewhere before. Maybe not in here, but maybe we need to something like this. I don't know. Do something like that. Derp. Why is it not compiling? Ah, voila. Yeah, to fetch the challenge ID. Oh man, I really forget. It's something like this, at param? I don't know. Method parameter should be bound. Hier. Yeah, voila. Query param. This is what I want. Then I think you can pass something to that. A string. Yeah, we called it challenge ID, I think. And then this is going to be a string for now. And then the moment we... Oh yeah. See, I've been writing Java. You can see it. So... I think this should work, I feel like we've done this before already. Somewhere in players, maybe? Player controller? Ah! Aha! I don't know why we did it like this. Honestly, this looks quite wonky indeed. And it's a path variable, not a request param. Oi 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 oi. Oh damn. Yeah, so I don't know why we did it like this, but we ended up doing it like that, so... Maybe if we do annotate... Because it looks weird, Oi oi oi. Vale. No idea why it was why it's like that. But so if it doesn't work, then we can always write it like that. So it's fine that we just do to do, and then it should fail on that. Wait, so in the challenge controller, we can now just rerun our tests and verify that it, I guess, fails like that. It might be... I was gonna say it might be that the put mapping, this part, doesn't really parse or do proper replacement or something. You need to do it like this. And we don't really need to name it, I see. We do use the challenge ID or the player ID immediately there, so maybe that can work as well. So we probably don't need it. Why is it exploding this time? Ah. Bad request. Don't know why it would be bad request. Required request parameter challenge ID. Ah yeah, now it's gonna look for slash and a question mark challenge ID equals blah blah blah. So we do need indeed a path variable. And maybe we don't need this. Then we can just use that one as it is defined here. And I'm not sure if this will be enough. Maybe it will be. The show part you can understand, but the talking with the judges, no idea what they're saying. Something like, damn Tim, that's quite impressive. No, I don't really remember by heart, but they were very enthusiastic about our act. It was nice. Good vibes. Oi, 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 oi. Why is it failing this time? We have 500. Ah, that's probably the to-do. Yeah, not implemented derp. So now it's being hit. Great. Now we can check that this can just become a challenge ID. This thing. And I hope it will work, but I'm not sure. We might have done some special stuff for the player IDs here. Maybe we wrote a converter for that. Doesn't really look like it. Yeah, a quick scroll doesn't say that we did anything special about it or to it to register it with Spring. Nice, so it might just work. Hopefully we just end up in the same yeah, so yeah means yes. I think one of the guys say it in the end. They say, ah yeah, c'est 4 fois oui. Oui, 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 oui. Because my compatriot, he's French speaking. He's from Brussels. He doesn't understand Dutch that well, and they were kind enough to translate immediately for them. But yeah. Alright, it's working. We get the not implemented. Ah, nee, no matching editors or conversion strategy found. Dude, what the hell? Where did I... How or why is it that it works for the player ID then? Is it because it's just a type alias for a stupid string? That's a UUID? That's probably why. So our challenge ID is more specific. It's not just a type alias, it's a concrete class. Challenge ID. This one. It's a data class. It doesn't need to be a data class anymore, does it? It can be a value class now. And now we need to do annotate it to JVM inline. But even for this, I don't even think there's a... Doing that won't make it work, I don't think. Yeah, I am just curious. What if it does just work? Would be nice, huh? Nicolas, did you go to some new conferences lately? Or some of them that are interesting to follow? Oh, nice. That's cool. Oh wow, 18. I missed that one. Oh, that stuff actually works. Oh, that's nice. So, oh my god, dude, that's nice. So this works because in the background, really what's working or what's happening there is Spring or Jackson or whatever does the mapping is gonna interpret this challenge ID as an actual string type and will then inline its own quote-unquote validation. So, but there isn't really that much validation happening there. So we just use this ID and then put it in a challenge ID on the spot. Oh my god, that's nice. Now you don't have to do any kind of bullshit for that. Oh, that's nice. Okay, so now we need to implement this accept challenge thing, I guess, because our endpoint is being hit. What shall we do here? So to accept a challenge, we want to update it. Why a put for accept? Yeah, because, okay, so we talked about that in the on the Socrates, and accept is indeed idempotent or idempotent, I don't know how to pronounce it. But when you do an accept challenge for a specific ID and it's already accepted, this just doesn't do anything. And when you, you couldn't have been, you could have been, it was a live one in Leuven somewhere. And it was just an open space, so not a conference. But so the discussion there was, what does your API follow for now for like reasoning? Is it a RESTful API? I was like, nope, it's not. It's just, it's trying to be, it doesn't really care about being RESTful or not. But it happens to be that I already have a challenge controller which hits on /API/challenge. And there you can post some stuff like a challenge request. So that makes sense because you're trying to create a new one. And it's still task-based because you're transforming this challenge request into a command. And then /pending is just going to give you a list of pending challenges. So then with that reasoning, what should we do for an accept? Because yeah, you could say it's a get, but then you're actually mutating stuff in the background, so a get is not appropriate for that. Should it be a post? Well, a post probably needs an object, but what are you going to put inside of that object? Then you just say, oh, but this post, it doesn't even take anything. It could take the challenge ID, but that's the only thing you need. But that should be in the URL because you're really hitting one very specific challenge. Yeah? It's sort of like saying, if you go to a URL and you say that you already know the ID, then you know what it is that you want to accept, let's say. So in this case, it would be this challenge ID, yeah. And then it turned into a put because if you do it over and over and over again, you can only do it once. Like the first time you do it, you've accepted it. The second time you've already accepted it, it won't do anything. And you would disagree with that API. And why is that? So for me, it's fine. Like I'm not treating, how do you say that? There are people that treat REST APIs that they always need to be RESTful for some reason. But yeah, I don't care about that. I would rather have my API fit well with CQRS patterns than it would fit with RESTful, like something as a resource, because then it will just end up being CRUD and we have to deduce what the user tried to do. And now it's explicit. And you can map it to functions. Excuse me. We don't expect anything out of there, so it can be like that, I think. What is it, star? A wildcard. So what we want to do at least is say return response builder or something. Oh man, okay. Was it okay or created? Ah, this returns a builder, okay. So we do build or something? Yeah, Or not. Any? Yeah, voila. Any is fine. You see REST APIs only as primary adapters or driving adapters. I don't have any direct links between the APIs and the domain. Yeah, okay. Yeah, indeed. So for me, my API or my REST API is like my immediate use case layer as well. I skipped the step basically. You'll also see that in my scenarios. They all start hitting the HTTP layer because I only have one thing. So both my REST API, which is an adapter still, and my use cases are one and the same. So it's a bit annoying because sometimes you want to do two things at the same time, but I haven't hit that issue yet. So for now, this works just fine. Yeah, indeed. Everything is a trade-off, huh? It's so annoying. The person that invented that statement can be a nightmare to handle some transaction cases. Yeah, of course. Yeah, the moment I need that, I think I will even only just introduce a domain service rather than a full-fledged use case layer around my nice domain. But for now, we can get away with using my REST API as a use case layer. In any case, I would still probably design my API this way because I'm the one using it and it makes sense. Yeah, the transactions are at command handler level. You could put it, yeah, we can. But so the transactions right now are command executor are around the handlers. Yeah, voila, here. So all of my command handlers, they are transactional. That's it, really. I guess if you can still work around that use case layer if you've got a composed or composite command. So then you can just change some commands, wrap it in a single command, and then you're good as well. But it's kind of silly to do it that way. Yeah. So indeed, what we want to do here is we want to now convert this request of a put into a command. Yeah, working with classic persistence on a daily basis. Yeah, then I think it makes a bit more sense to use a RESTful API. I think in that case, I don't even think I would bother writing REST controllers, because stuff changes so fast there and there, or that's the idea at least, that you can throw away stuff and put it back online. Just do some database migrations or whatever to learn or to apply something that you learned. But I'm trying to do it like in a proper way first, I guess, because I mean, I've put some time into. I don't want to say that it's sunken cost, but I put some time in making this entire story map, doing a little bit of flow mapping or whatever this is called. Maybe it's event storming, but not. I don't think it really is, because it's all like one-to-one. Maybe here it's a bit different. Just to figure out what I needed to write in my code base. So yeah, I did some exploration beforehand before writing some code. So I'm fairly confident it won't change all that often. And I think I also tend to drive nowadays from my UI, because I keep forgetting stuff. Like last time, that's a funny story. We tried to start with this card here. A challenge player can accept a challenge, and I thought, oh yeah, then the only thing I need to do is I just need to be able to accept a challenge. But of course, to be able to accept it, you first need to display it in a list so that you can click on it to then accept it, and we didn't even have that. So yeah. You're struggling whether or not you should go CQRS event sourcing for a context in your current project. CQRS is something you can always do, I think, because it really is just a different way to approach persisting stuff. It just makes things more explicit. And I think event sourcing is different. Whether or not to choose event sourcing is really, really difficult, I think. It's not an easy choice to make, because the moment you do, it's a difficult way to turn back from it. I think a lot of the stuff will depend on the maturity or the seniority, I want to say. Maybe not the seniority, but how experienced your developers in your team are. Like if they're quite, how do you say that, like seasoned developers, yeah, okay, then I wouldn't do event sourcing. If the team is pretty much junior and you need to be live in 2 months. Yeah. Well, that will help you shift in any case. Yeah, it might be too much of new stuff that they need to learn to get productive in your code base. You can't do that without proper support. Unless they all take a course by Greg Young or whoever gives courses on event sourcing nowadays. Full history of all actions. That does sound like a good plan to use event sourcing. Yeah, it's really difficult decision. Maybe you would do it, but then your 2-month timeline might not be realistic. Unless you make sure that you pull in some experienced devs with that stuff, and then have them develop it alongside juniors. Because the trade-off there is that if you want your juniors to also maintain it afterwards or do some changes in that thing, then maybe you want to not spend time focusing on learning or sharing knowledge, but on getting shit into production, and then you do the learning later, the technical learning, that is, as you do the learning on whether it was worth putting into production faster. No, that's a tough choice. Damn. Yeah, I guess the thing is, if you, it does sound like event sourcing is a good solution to an actual problem that you have, a functional problem. Yeah, I think the developers that need to maintain it, then I don't think you need to take them into account, because they're gonna have a hard time learning like basic Java or .NET or whatever if they're used to 4G. Maybe they will even feel more attuned with event sourcing, in fact. Because it just sounds a little bit more logical. I'm not really sure. Not sure. But for our case here, what we can do is we can do a command executor if we got that. And then we just execute a new command where we say accept challenge. And we add the challenge ID to that thing. That should be it, I think. One thing that I don't really like anymore, or like from this notation, is that really the success part of this should be the thing that's returning response entity okay. So if we're going to write it like that, you know that we're going to be depending on throwing exceptions, and we are in fact. So yeah, it's a bit of a mistake in my choice to still use exceptions instead of result types there, but oh well. Okay, I think that should be it. So here our accept challenge is is gonna be a new command. We'll put it right near this one. So we do challenge player is going to return player challenge. So then we've got a data class called accept challenge, which takes a val challenge ID, which is a challenge ID, and it should be a command. Oh, and I don't remember what this type is. I think it's a return type or something. I guess we can just return a challenge ID, I don't care. I am not using arrow, no. I don't know if I want to, because not my entire code base is functional. There's no full functional programming style in there. Challenge accepted, I think we should take, and then it should have at least this thing. Yeah, it should have that, and then that is all. I haven't even tried it out. Arrow. I think at some point, yeah, I think in my scenario here, we have this. Oh, where was it? In client. I wrote my own result type here. A success, and otherwise you get an error. I wrote this myself. It's not that difficult, I don't think. Maybe it's wrong, huh? That's a different story. Arrow meta. I have no idea. I know it's split up into a couple of submodules, let's say, but I don't know the specifics of it, in fact. So player controller we don't need. Here we are in the command executor. Here we've got thing. I think that's it. So we can just execute that, and now it should fail on not being able to find a proper accept challenge handler for that. Yeah, that does seem it does look nice. Then you can start writing Kotlin as if it's F#. Yeah, no, I will put it in a Scratch file. So refined we don't have just yet. And then this is the ensure function. So your value class D20 is a constructor, and your I didn't even know you could do that. You could say that your companion object is a refined, so to speak. And this makes it so that you can construct a D20, because that's, I think, your constructor here, right? And then before you can construct it, you want to use some kind of a function called ensure that verifies that it is between 1 and 20. And then here's the pair, so your ensure is going to take... it's sad that they use ensure and then use do keywords. Like if they're already going to use a DSL for that, then maybe... That's fine. Yeah, it looks nice. Wait, you're saying it doesn't compile even? That's different though. That's different. Oh, young. How the hell does that work? Ooh, okay, yeah, that's quite strong. Then we are doing F# and Kotlin, but it looks a bit bloated, don't you think? Yeah, me neither. That's probably why it's called meta. Is there an extra compiler for that? Maybe that would make sense. Like you can add some compilers in Kotlin and as a plugin. That's probably how that stuff works. Yeah. So you will end up with the same problem that Lombok introduces. So the moment you try to bump your Kotlin version, you have to wait until there's a new meta compiler version out for that specific Kotlin version as well. Now the pace at which the Kotlin or JetBrains is releasing Kotlin is quite fast, but then again they also pay a lot of attention to not breaking some backwards compatibility. Because in Kotlin itself you've got like nice language features to tell your library users that stuff is going to break, etc. Or to be easier, more easier backwards compatible with that stuff. So yeah, it's quite cool indeed. So I have no experience with it. It looks like it's nice, but yeah, I don't like it. It really depends on the implementers. So if the guys from Arrow are like hardcore guys and they're contributing to Kotlin as well, then it's going to be fine, I think. It just depends how fast they can respond, I think. Okay, let's add a challenge or an accept challenge handler. So this one should have a handler. Yeah, voila. With the famous retry. So now we need to add a new class called bleu handler. Let's think about that for a second. I think we only need the repository as a dependency. And then we just need to say it's a command handler and it's handling the type. Or no, I think first it's saying what type it should return, and I think I said to return a challenge ID. And it should be able to deal with accept challenge commands. That's what we're saying with that generic stuff. Now we need to implement some stuff. Oula. So not as a constructor parameter, but as a member. Let's do both of these. And then I can just say as a command type val, we can just say that it's equal to this accept challenge thing. That can go. Class. Noise. Yeah, and now we need to return some stuff. So our specific event would be challenge accepted. And we've got a to-do here, and what we should do in that thing here is just update our so you want to save our challenge that we fetch from it. So let's first get by ID or something, get by challenge ID, and we'll use a challenge ID on the accept challenge command. Let's add a to-do here. Throw a challenge accepted event. So we find the challenge itself, and let's just assign it. And now we just need to accept it. And then that's it, I think. If we do this, then maybe we can even have that thing throw. So... It's going to look a little sequential, so we need to return challenge.id to challenge accepted with the challenge ID itself. Oh no, challenge ID. So yeah, we need to save it. Save challenge. So you can see it's mutating. I hate it. Let's add a function, and this really should only set the accepted thing to true. Where is that? Oh, we don't even have that. It's only on my my representation for the class. Mo, Amarth, how is it going? Alles on wheels? Yes, it is. Yeah. Thanks for asking. How do we do this? I'm already regretting that it's a boolean, eh? Fuck. What we could do instead is returning an accepted challenge or something. And then we'll create a new one and propagate state that way. Then at least we know that we shouldn't change anything other than these. Allez, we can no longer change any of these to a challenge. We always regret booleans. Yeah, but this is gonna take me way longer to implement though. And I want it to work now. I want it to work now. And then we can refactor it later, I think. Eh? Can we? Yeah, it is, but... Actually, it might work fine. Okay, let's try that. So here we will just do something like that then, right? And then, yeah, but that then means that our accepted challenge should be a challenge, which is not really. It's not even, I wouldn't be lying. Yeah? And then we can just transform that specific challenge into this one. Okay, let's do that. So next to a regular challenge. Yeah, it's gonna be inheritance, I'm afraid, though. Because we want this to be, this one to be a challenge, but an extension on that one, on this one. Because we still want to. I'm always in a lazy mood. Oh, Jesus, who wants to write proper software? Jesus Christ. Data class accepted challenge, and it needs to be. Oh, so it doesn't have anything, in fact. And now I want to say it is a challenge. Ho ho ho. Yeah. So now I'm navigating into territory of Kotlin that I haven't used all that often. I really don't want to copy all those fields over, Ale. Do you want to wrap it? You want to wrap it? It's fine for me, we can just wrap it. Ah yeah, it cannot have the same... Oh, that's... You're absolutely right, in fact. Fuck. God damn it, now I need an interface for this beast. Because now challenge here will be like a challenge in the making or something, eh? God damn it. Okay. So let's not use it as a challenge then, but then I will need some kind of a union type over accepted challenge and challenge so that I can save it with one repository call. Okay, so anyway, I will create one challenge from another. So it's gonna look like that. And then what do I want to save? What do I want to save? So we should try to do this. Fucking hell. Allez, enjoy your beers, Colin. Thanks for your fun interaction as always. Happy to have you here, and wish you a nice rest of the week. Say hello to the guys I know that know me. Bye bye. Okay, we will return a new accepted challenge class, and it will just pass along this. Or maybe you know what? We could just pass along the ID. What if we did that? Then we need to do some union stuff. Or maybe it's fine if we only keep the ID. Oh fuck. Until we need it. That's also being lazy, right? Maybe that can be enough. Oh yeah! Oh, it's gonna be fine, yo. It's gonna be fine. Okay, let's do... We'll keep a val challenge ID, which is a challenge ID. So keep in mind, I switched from using the challenge ID itself. Oh shit, so it needs to be UUID in fact. To the UUID. Reason being, I'm now talking in aggregates and no longer in how I want to represent that thing outside here. I think that's fine, eh? Okay, nice. So now what I want to do is, after I've returned this, I'm going to go back to my handler, and there it's going to be failing. So it's a bit annoying because if you split up your files according to the file names, you can just do Command E and then go back there. But what I really wanted to do is do Command E and then go back to my handler, you know? So if I do Command Shift Backspace, I should be going back to the places that I've been editing. So that's here. Okay, so now let's say that we want to save an accepted challenge. It's not like you can unaccept a challenge at the moment you've accepted it. So maybe we just need a new one that says fun accept, and then it's gonna take a UUID, and it's not returning anything. And then we just need to, because I think, or I'm fairly sure we have that, it's here on challenges. And then we just need to say accept aggregates.id. Nee? It's not called ID? Of course not. It is now. Needs to be an override. Why is that? Maybe we shouldn't call it save then or something? It looks a bit weird, huh? No, it should be save. See, this action here seems weird. To save an accepted challenge, it's so weird. Oh nee. Oh, undo. Because it added it to the repository and that's not what I wanted. So it shouldn't be an override, it's just being stupid. Okay, and then we need to just implement this accept function, much like we've done the store. So it should be not compiling, in fact. That's strange. It should be not compiling. Ah, no, it's not. It is compiling because challenges DAO itself is an interface. So yeah. Okay, we will do something like that, and it's called accept. Do you think I even remember how we called that stuff? And then really what I want to do is I want to SQL update, and I want to say update challenges, and then I want to set, wait, what the fuck is this? I want to set is accepted to true, blah, where ID equals colon ID, I think. And then we need to bind it like we do the get by challenge ID kind of thing. So it's sort of like that. I know it's like exactly like this. Ha ha ha. So, voila. And now our signature is correct. We accept an ID. We say accept this ID. It looks weird. It should probably say store accepted challenge or something. Because really what we're doing is we're just modifying its boolean to true. So in the database it can still be a silly boolean. Huh? So when we do that, it's quite likely. Yeah, now we've got queryable challenges, and they do have this is accepted thing. So what I want to do in all of the places where I'm fetching all of the challenges, I think, or something like that. Do we have that? We do find challenge. Here, I think. This is also incorrect now because it needs to return only the challenges that have not been accepted yet, because we use this to return the pending challenges. Huh? But now we only introduced the as accepted thing just now. Let's go to the repository. Okay. I think it's probably here. Huh? So we should only ever create a challenge when the this dot is accepted is not or when it's set to false, basically. That's the only point when I can do this. Anyway, I think it's compiling now, I hope. Oh yeah, useful string, you missed that refactor? Where is it somewhere? Oh, I love this. So useful string is now a value class. That's really just, you can create it with some kind of a string, yeah? And this really just does, if it's blank, throw an exception. And if not, well, yeah, then you've got a useful string, eh? So by using this type everywhere, you can just always depend that there's something useful inside of the string. So if I... and otherwise you have to put that in every single string that you want to use. I think it's such an annoying thing. Now you can just depend on the type being there. I honestly, I even wonder if I really have to do this. Yeah, no, I think I have to do it. There's no auto constructor that gets generated with like an actual string that unwraps it, but in Java there is a. So I just noticed, where was it, in the challenge controller? So there's some funky stuff happening here, because challenge ID itself is also, oh yeah, I also learned that you can put it in one line. It's a challenge ID itself is also a value class that you can construct using a string. So the JVM inline just means that wherever a challenge ID is used, it's just a string that's being used there, not challenge ID. And we noticed that before, when this was a data class and not a value class, my scenario tests were failing because it was complaining about, hey, challenge ID, I don't know how to convert that. I don't know how to convert an actual string literal that's in a path into a challenge ID data class. But just the moment I converted into a value class, it just worked, because for Spring Boot, this really is just a string. That's really weird. But you get the immediate type safety of Kotlin's types. So I fucking love it. It's so great. It's really, really cool. Everything seems to be compiling. I think we can just rerun our tests now. So we did a bunch of changes. We did the easiest thing that could possibly work, quote unquote, but we tried to use types. I think we're even throwing that challenge accepted event. Ah, shit. Yeah, it was compiling. Voilà. We're even throwing the challenge accepted event that contains a challenge ID. Maybe this shouldn't be the challenge ID, but like the actual ID of it instead of something we want to expose to the outside world. Because these seem to be temporary and not... Voilà. Het is kapot. Excuse you? We still have it to do somewhere? Oh nee, oei. Collection contains no element matching the predicate. Oh, I guess what I forgot. Fuck you, Spring. God damn it. It's somewhere on my to-do, to lose or to drop the add component and then define my beans manually myself in the configuration file. The magic stuff is nice, but when you forget that stuff, it's really painful. So forgot to register my handler as a component, otherwise, now it's not being injected, or it wasn't being injected into my command executor that gets injected with a list of command handlers, basically. Yeah? Wiping database. Oh, now it's a different error. Oh. Huh? Pending. Oh! I love that I already had this in mind, so... so after you've accepted your challenge, and the isAccepted thing is updated, if you do fetch pending challenges again, well, then it should be empty, shouldn't it? But now it's being filled in, so now we actually we hit that thing where I already know where to go. So in our challenge controller, just for the sake of completeness, we've got the pending challenges endpoint here. We'll do execute or null with this to just get the player, but then we will ask for all of their pending challenges. So there will be a query for that, or a handler for that, sorry. And this one, it will do find pending challenge or find pending for a player ID. And then we'll just map it into queryable pending challenges. I don't know why that is, because it's already a queryable pending challenge? No? Oh no, what the fuck? That's a different one. I guess then it makes sense even. I can just modify it in this DAO. I just reuse the same table. Oh, I love that. Alright, so now we just need to say and c.isAccepted. I don't know how to do that. You do is false. Double equals false. Okay, so the cool thing about that is that we can try this in our database console. Oei, oei, oei. Let's try to query challenges. Is there stuff in there? Yep. And the is accepted as true. So if we query this, so let's do new challenge or whatever. I just want now it's better. That's weird, huh? Let's open a console there. Nice. We do the select. We just execute it, and then hopefully maybe we need to get the challenge ID or something. I don't know. Opponent ID. So it's this one. We run it. We'll be prompted for the challenge player ID. It's that UUID. Yeah. Let's execute it. Syntax error. Okay. Voila. Oh yeah, maybe it's just like that. So false returns nothing. If we do true, it works. Can I do this? I can. Can I do that? I can. Okay, so now we've got our query. So it should be this, huh? So, non-accepted challenges, and we just rerun our scenario test. Rerun. Oh yeah. Honestly, I'm really loving the wide end-to-end tests, you know. They're slow to start up, but they bring so much value. You can change so much stuff in the in the background, and if it works, it works. Now, I do have to say, like, I wouldn't use this when I've got too many juniors in my team, because I feel like I would be teaching them the wrong way of thinking. So I'm really missing out on the aspect of driving my design using tests. It's a bit of a trade-off, but we're in green. So now I would be able to write, and normally I would now try to write a test that fails, so that then drives my design. But I think it's working. Yeah. We did notice beforehand that yeah, okay, maybe we can just do that. Where was that other this one? So now when you just check, you can store this. That's fine, I guess. But really, it should even exist, I think. Should it? Don't care about it. The problem is, of course, now if I do get by challenge ID, I'm going to return an actual challenge that has either been accepted or not, but I don't care about that stuff right now. My code is just not hitting that. It is a bit weird that it's allowed, of course. Okay. Design choices. Quite weird. Okay, let's do a commit. This is definitely not a small refactor. Yeah, it's a new feature for sure. Implemented. Accept challenge. That's it, So that's all of the backend stuff. We only have 15 minutes to implement the front end. That'll be tight. I don't know why I'm doing this, because no one has pushed anything, so we just push. I forget if... Let's close everything. There was or there was not an update to the Elm plugin. I don't remember. Oh. We can check if it runs or if it can open those Elm files again now, because yeah, I prefer honestly to work inside of IntelliJ. Seems like it's working again, huh? There was an issue last time which had me working in VS Code. I mean, it has its perks, but it's completely different from working in IntelliJ, and I was hitting wrong shortcuts and stuff like that. So, and the refactoring tools aren't that great of the VS Code plugin. They were a bit better inside of the IntelliJ plugin. Okay, so let's verify in somewhere in our this part here. You've got show a list of pending challenges. Done, I guess. Then clicking on a pending challenge brings you to the accept challenge screen. I don't even think we've got a screen for that. Then accepting a challenge doesn't show the challenge in the pending challenges anymore. This is gonna work automatically, honestly, because yeah, the way that we're doing fetch pending challenges, yeah, we just haven't verified it yet, so maybe we need to just work on this part first. We didn't even, oh my god, we didn't even have like a thing that said accepting or clicking the accept challenge button. Accept challenge? I don't know. Something like that. Voila. So yeah, this is in the UI. The backend, it's donesies. Maybe I need to make that explicit as well. Backend for accepting a challenge. Not or for filtering accepted challenges out of the pending challenges list. We've done that as well. Okay. Let's see what we have in our UI. Let's start npm start. Then that will hit us with a live reload. We need to log in. Oh, I think I did some refactoring here as well that you might want to see. So let's log in as Mr. Rat, who has password for a password, I think. Yay! Now I have to refresh because I still haven't fixed that bug yet. What is going on? Normally I would have... there aren't any rankings yet, I think. Wait. If I refresh, is it still there? Oh yeah, derp. I first need to run my application in debug mode so that my UI has an actual backend to go to. So while that's booting, I'm gonna read the chat on my Discord, because Unicorn even though they have implemented their own either type, it works a bit differently, I think. Ah, it's like a way to set either an int or a float. So it's setting stuff based on your input. I wonder how he deals with that kind of stuff. It's kind of weird. Unicorn is a fun guy, yeah. Fun person. I don't even know if they are a guy or not. Here we go. Regenerate trigger with 2 players. If we refresh because we are logged in, we are unauthorized. Why is that? Because our backend doesn't know us yet. No, wait, why is that? Yeah, we don't have, we haven't done the replacement yet, of token replacement. Okay, so then that means we can just get rid of this. We can log in. We've auto logged in. Aha. Now the system doesn't know us yet, so we can say, actually, we are Mr. Red and we are ready to join the fray. You'll now be auto redirected to the main screen where there's already a leaderboard. And then you can just challenge people. You can say, I want to duel you, Scallop, next Wednesday at 8 o'clock. I don't know. You dumb. Challenge. That's nice. Then we will challenge our GM as well. Next Thursday, haha. At 9. You cool. Yeah, it's like a mutable either type, yeah. I don't understand when you need that kind of thing. Why would you want to set something based on your assignment? I just don't understand it. I don't understand the use case. But yeah, I'm quite stupid as well, so. Okay, here we go. Do we already have... yeah, so that's not up to date. Oh, player challenged. It's been broadcast. So now we're really waiting for this regenerate to happen again. I think. Do we have that? Not HTTP, nee. Oh, damn. So there are Scratch files where you can make HTTP requests to... And then I forget. It's like HTTP... Oi. Localhost 8000. Where you say, I want to hit... I don't remember. API. And then regenerate or something. Or rehydrate. I'm not sure if that's gonna work. In fact, it's gonna complain and yeah, unauthorized. Oh well. Where do we do that here in the web? Test. Somewhere in client? Ah, leaderboard probably. Yeah. Ah, okay. Base URL does contain API. True. So it's this one. Oh, no, still unauthorized. The Apache 64. Oh, Kotlin. That's right. I am unauthorized and I'm sad. Because now I need to do the requests to get a token, and I really don't want to do all of that stuff, honestly. Jesus. Ooh, thanks for following. We're just testing out a new feature that we implemented where we are accepting someone's challenge. Oh, and the regenerate is triggered. Let's go. So if we refresh, Mr. Red should be probably rank 1 because he's challenged both Scallop and RGM. Oh, and he is for sure, and he doesn't have any pending challenges. That is weird. I don't understand why that is, because I thought we actually already implemented that list. Yeah, show a list of pending challenges. Yo, I don't understand why. It is empty. They haven't been accepted yet, so I wonder why. Yeah, I remember now. Yeah, so, oh Jesus, that's gonna be a bit of a mindfuck. So what I do now is I only show these pending challenges to the people that have logged in. What are we building here? This is a very good question. I will show you around. So the idea of this website is it's supposed to help organizations that want to organize Diabotical tournaments or whatever first-person shooter you're hosting, to help their players play more of the game. Basically, that's what the idea is. And we do that by making a player or a ranking board, a leaderboard I mean, where you can just log in, associate yourself with a nickname so that you're then a player of this thing, and then invite or challenge other players, add them or send them challenges, and then the other players can then accept your challenges. So I was gonna show that, but I don't really have like a proper logout feature just yet, so now I need to log in again, as for example, not this guy because it's already... Oh, we're sadly not using Ktor, we're using SpringBoot because I was really afraid of using Ktor for doing security, and doing it in Spring Security was already taking me, I don't know, like 6 sessions of like 4 hours or something silly like that. So when I was like 3 hours into that one, I thought to myself, I'm gonna keep the Ktor thing to another time. There was a bit of a stint. I might have a branch for that, in fact, I'm not really sure anymore. Nope, I don't even have a branch for that anymore. But yeah, so sorry about that. We are using Ktor to use as an HTTP client to trigger our API in a sort of a post-deploy sort of way, but in which we just host a Spring Boot, or we boot up a Spring Boot container with everything loaded, and we just trigger the API to see if it's working or not. I was gonna try and log in as somebody else, but to do that I first need to log in as the admin of this Keycloak or local Keycloak server. Oh, you will love to hear what we've got for front end. We're logging out everyone. That will allow us to log in as somebody else here. Okay. Now we will log in as Carmelit. He's just called Carmel. I don't know Carmel as a system yet, so let's have them create a new user. And then we will challenge Mr. Rat. Next Wednesday. You twat. Blah blah. Challenge. We'll also challenge Scallop for good measure. Next Saturday. Get good. We challenge them as well. Voila. Then we can log out again. And then we invalidate all of the sessions again. Voila. Then we log in again. This time as Mr. Rat. And godver. And now we should see challenges if we refresh again. Oh, here we go. So now we've got a list of all of the pending challenges. If I click on it, we just end up at the page, but we don't show the actual challenge yet. And here comes the best part. The Apache. We are doing the UI in Elm. Maybe I should show it like this. So Elm is a pure functional language. What should I show from that? If you don't know it, it's not that difficult to comprehend. It contains a very small loop where if you enter a page, you will enter this init function. Some stuff happens, but then eventually your view function will be rendered. And your view, it's this function right here. And this just shows you how to render your model. And then the moment you perform some actions on your UI, like, I don't know, entering text, you will update your model as you type and then re-render your view all the time. So you've got three functions. One is called view, the one we just saw. You've got an update, which is a function. And then finally we've got the model that's being passed all the way around. So in our update function, we're in the main class now, or in the main Elm file. Here we are doing nothing but logging in, or like dealing with how to log in. You can see that based on the message types. And then we've got three different sub message types, let's say, that all just delegate to their own appropriate pages. Oh man, Android, it's a bit different from Elm, let's say. But so now what we have to do is we've already have a page to register. You've got a which you'll just be redirected towards. That's this one. Our home page is this one, the one that you're looking at now. We've got a challenge page, which you've seen when you click on a person or a player. I don't know why it's not working. Ah, yeah, because it's being appended. Great. So that we need to fix somehow. So that's a bit of a bug there. And then now we have to render this page. Basically the pending challenge with something else. Oh, the reason why I chose Elm compared to other front-end framework libs. Well, I had a little bit of an experience with Elm and I'm in love with the type safety. So it's really difficult to make functional mistakes that way, let's say, or like silly mistakes that way. You won't forget to accidentally update something or not. The Elm compiler will just complain. And you'll be like, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to do that, sorry. But then when you fix it, it will just work. So that means that the moment you write a bug, just like Amarth is saying, you will learn about it real fast. So not when you're in, when you've deployed it, let's say, not when you're using it. You will learn about it at compile time, which is the best time, honestly, because that will help you write less bugs. Of course, you can still write some functional bugs, let's say. So I don't know, not filtering the right things or something like that. That makes sense, huh? But even that you can avoid if you use the type system very well. Yeah, so now we only need to, quote unquote, we only need to add a new page. So that would look like this. We just use, I don't know, a home or something. Home might be too big. Let's do challenge. We copy it and then we say accept challenge, which is a new screen. Yeah, so the bug in the UI is it's tricky with this thing. So when I click on that, clicking on a person's name will do something. It will modify something with the URL, and I bet that I just am appending because I assume I'm on the home page, which is fine, but I'm not really on the home page. You see. It's I'm using a relative URL here to append it, and that's incorrect. So that's the reason why it's wrong now. So it's a functional mistake. I couldn't make that into a type, I think. Or I'm just using the routing in a wrong way. So for challenge, let's see. We don't want anything. Maybe accept challenge button clicked as a new message type here. We don't want this. Now we need to think about our model. We've got the challenge ID, which for now can just be a string. It's the thing that we receive from the URL. And then we'll get an opponent, sure. An opponent nickname, sure. It's just for rendering purposes. Really what we want to render is like all of the stuff that's in the challenge itself, I guess. So a challenge mode, when, a comment, an API failure to deal with when you do improper HTTP stuff, and then a nav key for navigation. These are all the things I think we're going to need. This stuff, don't care. The set stuff, oh, do I want to keep that? Maybe I do. Okay, now to fix our empty model, what should this be? Doe maar toch. It's difficult to get the proper things now. So we've got first a challenge ID, then an opponent nickname, and then the game mode. So this should be dual, for example. And then it's compiling. Okay, nice. And now we need all the ways to deal. So we remember challenge button clicked was one thing. We changed it to accept challenge button clicked. We want to perform challenge. So here we want to perform accept challenge, I think, instead. And then we want to do a post that says use the model model dot challenge ID, and then append that stuff with accept, I think. And then here we need a new one. So got perform accept challenge response. But then this will lead us into like some more stuff. So let's just for now not do anything with this and just try to render some stuff. So here we can just return cmd.none, I think, and it should be fine. Should be compiling. This we don't care about yet, so that can go. Oh, this crap we need to render. I hate that I have to duplicate that, but we will fix that later. And then this is quite important. The init page is also something of a contract that I need to adhere to. We don't want to init our page with a player ID, but we do want to init our page with a challenge ID, which doesn't exist. So for now, let's just do a string. This then turns into a challenge ID. And then we can perform some calls in batch. So this happens simultaneously, not in order. There's no guarantee on when these calls are returning. And that's like one mistake I made in my home page. I do something like when you receive a JOT token after authentication, I then say perform in batch, exchange the token, and then do some subsequential calls. But there's no order guarantee in there, like they all happen at the same time basically, and I need to still refactor it into doing it in order, sequentially. At least the first one, like doing the exchange, and then the rest can follow, can be done in batch. So these is fine that it's done in batch, in fact. But we don't want to do anything again, so here we can just do the same. Don't do any command on init page. We don't want to cover anything about this. Also unnecessary. And then we need to view a challenge. I think that we do need to do. And it'll just work. And then we need to change these into, instead of input radios, maybe we can oh dang it, should have kept it there. Game mode chosen. Let's go to game mode chosen here. Ah no, we don't want to perform any change, so no change listener should be registered. I'm not sure if you can ignore this one. Nope. So it's expecting a message type, so we want a no op. Hahaha. What's your problem? Oula, Vincent has said a lot. Routing is pretty type safe and properly set up Angular. I'm sure Elm would have figured it out. Yeah. There's definitely explicit parallel versus sequential calls in reactive, for sure. But in Elm, what you can do to do those sequential stuff is you need to translate your commands into tasks. And I just simply haven't done that yet. Your tasks is a way to... I think I'm on 0.19, I'm not really sure, so I hope that they're still in there. Now I don't even know. Okay. Now, so in any case, the way I should do it is I need to use tasks instead of commands. And there you've got more control whether or not you want to run them in sequence or in parallel or whatever. But it changes some other stuff too, the way you have to handle your responses in your decoders and stuff. It's no longer just a simple response. You have to wrap that response in a task itself or something. I really don't forget. I just forget. I don't understand what's happening here. So it requires us something with the game mode into a message type, but really what I'm saying is just do a no op. So now it's trying to I immediately return a message. So what I could do here is write a lambda that always just returns no op, and then it will work. So we're just ignoring the game mode here. And I think I need to render it like as in a disabled way. So so maybe we don't want an input.radio for that. Figure that out later. So not challenge button clicked, but accept challenge button clicked. Then we can just say accept challenge, but here is disabled. Oh. Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess the input radio thing has some options. So on change options and selected, on change options and selected, and also a label. Ah, yeah, and a label. Yeah. So we pass all of those, but there's no way to render it in a disabled way apparently. Oh, maybe we can use this instead. But displayed as a row. I think it's more like putting it on one line. Default radio option. Radio helper out of verbindings. That's all internal stuff probably. Yeah, anyway, we'll figure that stuff out later. As long as it's compiling in a moment. The appointment changed. I don't want to do anything about that either, so guess what? No op. Maybe this one we can render as a is disabled. Nope. That's fine. Same here. Okay, and then the handle API error stuff we also don't want to do here, because I think I even moved that to my own API Elm file. The pending challenges table we should probably render as well, because that will show a person that is about to accept a challenge their upcoming challenges, for example, or the pending challenges that they still want to accept or want to deal with. But yeah, so we really just want a new page somehow. So we've got a separate file with its own model, its own update function, and its own view challenge function, which is neat. Now we should go to main and then just say when you use, or when you have not a challenge message but a accept challenge message, which is probably also something like this, then just do call the set accept challenge model with the new challenge or new accept challenge model on model, and map the accept challenge message with your challenge message, and then we can also do a let in here, just like that, where we've got a challenge model and an updated. So here's the actual delegation. Voila. We don't have that thing imported just yet. And the reason for that is that we're not exporting. We're exporting everything, but it's called challenge as well, the module. So that wasn't really my best idea. We want to import accept challenge. That's correct. And then our update thing is working. Now we need to introduce a new accept challenge model on our current model of main, along with this message. And then both of these will start compiling the moment I add them into the model itself. So let's go to the model. Here we've got the one for home, registration, challenge. And now we just need to say we've got an accept challenge model, which is of this type. So we are using the model inside of this model we just defined, which just happens to be almost the same as the one in here. So that'll make stuff compile a little bit more. Now we need to add the extra message type. So that's this one. And we want to wrap the message type of this accept challenge module for that. That will make it compile even more. And then this is just a setter function that takes in an accept challenge model, so it should look almost exactly the same. And it should take an accept challenge model, new accept challenge model. And we need to update the accept challenge model of the current model. That's it. Voila, lots of boilerplate though, eh? More stuff not compiling. Oh yeah, now we need to say what the empty model is. So accept challenge using that empty model. There we go. Voila, now that stuff is compiling and our parse route is in fact working, which I guess is fine. We don't get exhaustive when stuff here, which is a bit too bad. But now we want to say map to this message, no, to this route in fact. So we need to introduce a new route. So let's do that. And this takes not an opponent ID but a, what was it again, challenge ID, which can be a type alias for string as well. Voila. And then what should the URL look like? So it's challenge. Oh shit. It was pending challenge, I think. Pending challenge and then a string. So this opponent ID stuff is actually the challenge ID. Because then it will look like this string. Voila, nice. And remember that challenge ID we pass along to the URI, we'll need to capture and then perform a fetch call to the backend with. So we've got a new route for that. It's right here. Some other stuff is not compiling. We've added it to the parse route so that we can actually route to this route or navigate to this route when this string is being detected in the browser window. Oh yeah, and now we need to say how we need to init the page. So when it's of type challenge, then do it like that. So we want to do the same. And when it's an accept challenge and it's not the opponent ID, but it's the challenge ID in fact, then I want to map accept challenge message. This one with the accept challenges init page for that challenge ID. Yeah, voila. And then you can see where init page is used, it's mapping a route to a command. So what this thing is saying, just throw this accept challenge message using this model. So it's an initialization part. So what I haven't done yet is identified all of my pages as with their own type. That way it would have been a little bit more type safe here, and then we can construct this init page a little bit more in a smarter way. Then it wouldn't break so fast. Okay, so we've got some stuff to set up and to do in a page in our main. We've got taken care of our routes. We've got a way to do view challenge, although it's not being used, which is a bit worrying. How come? Why is that? Ah yeah, so in our main view function, we should now also take care of our view main content. Ah, voila, here it is. I just didn't see that it was failing. So here we're basically mapping on what route do we have on our current model. What current route is there? If it's registration as a route, then just delegate to the view of the registration file basically. So that's this one. And now we just need to add another one where we also figure out if it's accept challenge, then this here is going to be the what was it again? Challenge ID. And we want to update the So we want to extract that out of the model so that we can then update it only with this part. So we want the accept challenge model to be a new local variable. We only want to accept challenge, and then it's not view challenge but view. Ah yeah, this view challenge, nice. But then it should take that one, and we need to update. Why didn't I keep that? That's weird, huh? Allez. Challenge ID, allez, why is it not working? Is that because a challenge ID is a string? Ah no, now it's... Okay. Voila. It was compiling elsewhere. Now it's working. Oh. If you just wrap the route construction in types 2, like you say, I guess you shouldn't have problems with it. Now, the bug that we had, I should show that as well. Huh? So that's when we are in home and we are rendering. So it's in view leaderboard table, because it's from the leaderboard table that we can click on those people's names basically, and then get a new link. And the way I'm setting it up now, there's a to-do in there somewhere as well. So I'm passing it a leaderboard, and the leaderboard is any kind of list that has this type. So it's like a generic type where anything works as long as it has a rank, a nickname, and the player ID. And what you then do is the way you render your data, it should look like this. So we say put it as a rank, and then your nicknames you need to render just like that. And there we've got an entry as link function. So here we go. UI link generates a simple href, but maybe we want to use nav.pushURL. And I think one of the reasons we want to do that is so that we don't build relative URLs. If you can use push URL, you can use not a route, but, or maybe you can use a route in fact, but you can route to something properly, like an actual URL, so to speak, without using this relative stuff. So this is why it's not working. I want it to not be relative, but I wanted it to be absolute. But if you have it absolute, push URL is indeed client-based navigation. Voila. And URL builder, or this is just generating hrefs. So when you click on it, you allow your browser to refresh your page basically, and then go to this new URL. And at that point, your init function hits again and will do the same parsing and whatever the stuff that that Elm needs to do at that point. So it's more efficient even as well to use push URL. But like to do that, we need to push that nav.key all the way down from our model. Well, actually the main model, and then we put that on our page model, which it already has in fact. But then from that page model, we also need to render our base table. So this one, and that one should not just get a palette and a list, but also a nav key. And then we push that thing down as well, etc, etc, etc. So it's like it's a bit annoying. So a way to solve that would be to have some more function. Okay, so nav key is really weird. It's really strange. Let me show you. Wait, I don't want to be here. I want to be in main, and there is an init function here. And when you use, or it should be even higher in your application, I think even. Where was the routing again? Doe me toch. Where is like the first time we actually use it? Here. Key. So voila, here it is. So this init function is the one that's used in browser application, and when you use browser application, you get all of a sudden you get the feature of using client-side navigation. It's like an archetype of an application, let's say, of an Elm application, because aside from application, there's some other stuff like, I don't know, like document, sandbox, some other stuff. So that those are like more simple versions of an application. But this init thing here, now it has a way to get a key. And it's just a thing to initialize your complete Elm application with. And it never changes basically. It's impossible to change it. But it's important for the main application, for this thing to work, to do the client-side navigation with it. So I don't know, like internally it's probably doing, because eventually Elm compiles down to JavaScript. So probably somewhere inside that JavaScript that's generated on this application bit, it's doing something smart with that key. So that's why to do client-side navigation, you need this nav key. So you can never change it, and it's built into the language. Like it's impossible to change it. So it just means wherever you want to use client-side navigation, you now need to pass the key to it. So it's really weird stuff. And then the way that I've set it up, I don't know if like it's a good way to do it, but really what I'm doing is everything gets orchestrated via main. You saw that already. It's based on the model, I just update my route. Where is my model? Model has a current route, and based on this route, I just redirect to the according file basically that handles both the updating of the model, the update function itself, and the view. You can see that in every part, so both in the model, the update function, and the view function. It's really weird stuff, and like in between there's like some bullshit about dealing with OIDC. So it's not really, how do you say that? It's not really it's not nicely encapsulated. And also the order of this stuff is a bit important because it helps me build like a partial model that way. Because all of these things need to be there. And then it allows you to build a partial model and then at the very end attach a token to it. Can't you put the key somewhere in either a constructor for your leaderboard component or in the model you pass to the leaderboard rendering function? So it's in the main model, but it's not in the... so this key is there in the mains model, let's say, but it's... I don't think I... Sometimes I add it in here, for example, the registration model has that key because I want to do navigation there. Challenge has it as well. Accept challenge also has it, but I'm just not using it. And the reason for that is because I didn't want to make the choice of passing... where would that be? Is it... allez. It's, yeah, so it's in home because that's where I'm rendering the leaderboard. So what I need to do is I need to do something like this. I need to pass the key down to the table, and then the table needs to also have a key. So then it looks like this. And now all of a sudden I need to import that key. And then here's the key. And then for every link I want to render, I now also have a key. And then this key I should use to nav. Oh, fuck it. Push URL with the key and then to build this. That's what I need to do, but like I didn't know or I didn't want to push that all the way down. Like there needs to be a more elegant solution for that. But even so, I don't think it would completely solve this part, because this here, the fact that it's a relative URL is incorrect. I need to build it in a smarter way. So what I was thinking is wrapping this part into something that just takes the root, so localhost 8080 or whatever, slash, and then from there just append this one. So I was hoping that there was something like home or something, or like, but not just absolute or relative, you know? Yeah, the leaderboard can appear anywhere, exactly. That's why it's wrong, but I know it already, and yeah. You don't get to fix that with type safety. Allez, unless you use an actual type that's relevant to your own UI, and I haven't built that yet, so there you go. All of my excuses. Shit, there's some, yeah, so in home I need to revert this part as well. Voila. Now if I refresh, I should end up, yeah, okay, nice. So even though it looks like a challenge page, it's actually the accept challenge page, because this is what's being rendered here. So maybe let's skip writing that as input fields, but then yeah, we can just not render it as a radio button. It should be a bit easier, eh? So in here, in our view, this is fine. So this should work exactly the same. Oh fuck. So I guess this is why I added the opponent ID to the challenge page, so that I can then fetch the opponent's nickname based on the ID. So I guess we'll need to add the opponent ID again there. And then what? Then we want to render the challenge mode. But really what I want to do is I would just want to render the challenge detail maybe. So don't even render this. The table, sure. And there is probably some way to... Yeah, here it is. I need to translate, I think, the selected challenge somehow. So it's not there, but we need to do it in another way. So this is not let's set you up versus, it should be opponent challenged you to blah, so blah challenge you to, and then here we should render what they challenge you for. That's the header. We can rearrange this stuff later, as long as we can build some components. So in our model we should say view appointment. So maybe appointment is not really the thing I want to add. So first it should be the game mode. If we just want to put it underneath each other, since this is a column, everything will be underneath each other. We've got an element with blah 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 blah, and then we should say view game mode, and then that should be zeg maar shell game mode. Voila, that works. And we just need to wrap it somehow. So view game mode or something. I could have sworn that I already did this somehow. So this should be case mode of, and then it's like dual render it as a not input text but UI.text, I think. And then I don't remember what this thing takes, but it's probably like an empty thing. And then okay, so probably just this then. And then we need to repeat that for all of the different game modes. Can we just, oh yeah, thank you. Okay, so let's multi-cursor on the arrows. Select that, and then we'll just say text command V. Okay. I think we wrote that as 2v2. Now wipeout can say the same, and this is just capture the flag. Voilà ça. I think that's fine. Then we've got our appointment. We should probably not have the placeholder there anymore. So this can go. Then, so this fill stuff is quite important. So instead of doing that, I want to do an L, which I think has that stuff. And then what I can do where is the actual appointment? That's this part. So I want to say UI.text appointment. And then this I need to wrap in its own array, and then it should be okay. Nee? What the fuck? Oh. What's your problem? Oh, okay. So yeah, it needed one thing, and then the way that Elm evaluates this is a bit different. So this we also need to do, but then for view comment input. So that's gonna look like this. Comment. It's exactly the same. And maybe what we can do later is to just render like a label or something. So that would be something like this. Yeah, no, I don't want to do it now. This is gonna be fine. Let's just see what is being rendered now. Oi. View challenge detail model and accept challenge. I missed it again. Did I get rid of game mode maybe? I sure did. It's called challenge mode. So it should be challenge mode. Yeah, okay, so challenge due to dual and then nothing, so that's a bit weird, eh? Why wouldn't it be working? So instead of doing this, we could return a row, I guess, where we say fill it on the width, and then we need to pass two things. One would be UI.text with the appointment, and then the other one would be the label, so to speak. So here, let's just say, oh, is that a thing called label? No, text. And then we say, oh, godver. Appointment. Then we say godver. Now it should render appointment, but nothing happens. Okay. We could also just say, I don't understand. It's supposedly empty. Oh yeah, of course it's empty. Idiot. So I need to fill the model, of course, by doing a call. But I think that'll, yeah, we're already like an hour over time. So let's do that the next time. So now we can just fill this at some point. But I think what I want to do is to say this challenge header. I think I also want to add this kind of padding or something. I don't know. Align top, and then just also give it UI.padding x y 2010. Easy. At least now it's a bit aligned or something, and the wonky space is there because we're not loading the user there. And then you can accept the challenge, and then everything will work if we implement it in the UI. So next time will be probably just all Elm, because our backend is fully functional, because we verified that using our scenario tests. And then we just need to do the UI part. Okay, so I'm gonna commit this already so that we've introduced. So it'll be new feature, but also work in progress. And then we say introduced no accept challenge page. And then we should just say to do, make it look like the wireframe. And that's also something that I was planning on doing at some point, is just take screenshots of the shit I made in Figma and then put it on my Miro board. Because then I can just refer to the Miro board all the time. Yeah, that's nice, huh? But yeah, it's pretty cool. I think we did this already. List all of the things I'm experimenting with. It should be on the Twitch page, nee? No, it's in the repo. Let's refresh for sure. Yes, experiments I'm running. Haha, done. Oh, done! Yay! See the GitHub repo. Okay. All right. So yeah. So if you're curious, go here. I just pushed all of the stuff. Yay! Alright, that's it. Thank you so much for joining. I hope you had a good time and learned a bunch of stuff just like I did. And then we will see each other next week, I think. Let's quickly check it because I keep on forgetting. More important live stuff. Nope, it's Tuesday is fine. Nice. Alright, so see you next week and have a good night's rest. I will try my best to have one myself. Bye for now. See you. Bye bye bye.